lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of MGR Unplugged. How are you, David?
Great.
Today, actually, I had a lot of different topics for today. Very e-marketing and global news and things like that. But David just twisted my arm to discuss NBA stuff.
Twisted your arm.
Yes.
I said, hey, do you want to talk some NBA? Yeah, let's do it. That's very twisting.
No, but I mean, I think it's good. We're going to take a break from all this e-commerce, even though we will probably touch a little bit on Thanksgiving because it's next week. But let's start with the NBA, actually. I'm kind of interested because it seems that we just came out of the bubble playoffs, even though it finished like September or something. When was the end?
No, it finished like mid-October. It wasn't that long
Mid-October, yeah.
It was like a month ago.
Yeah, I know. That's what I felt like.
Month and a
It feels like we just finished the delayed NBA season and playoffs and all that stuff in the Orlando bubble and all that. And now, I don't follow the NBA very thoroughly, but when I heard, originally I thought that the next season, which normally starts in October, which is the season for 2020-21, normally they said that it was going to start like maybe January, sometimes February, that they said maybe even March because of the COVID, and the owners wanted to make sure that they have spectators and people in the stands. There's not going to be any more bubbles or anything. So the opening of the 2021 season was a little up in the air, and I don't know what happened, if I missed something, but all of a sudden it's like starts before Christmas, right?
Yeah, 22nd.
Like
December
the 22nd of December, basically almost a month from now. And now we're having this.
They basically voted. So they had the Chris Paul and the Players Association, basically, they held a vote on when they want to start the season. And they worked with, obviously, the owners and all that. And then they voted December 22nd, and it passed.
Okay, so let's clarify that. So the Players Association voted. What was are there any... So the restriction was not based on whether they have spectators or not. I mean, the NBA has
the restriction was basically owners wanted fans, obviously.
Right.
They lose a ton of money not having fans.
Right.
And so that's why initially they were saying February, March, who knows when the season will start, because they wanted fans. But then they realized, you know what? We have guaranteed money with these TV contracts, so we'll just take the guaranteed money, and then hopefully we can have fans down the road. Now, they're already saying, it's similar to football, depending on the state, some of the teams will have fans in the stadium, some won't.
It varies by state because each governor has their own.
Yeah, and just the owners themselves. Some owners want to have fans, some don't. I don't know. I mean, it's not clear how many teams will have fans, but yeah, obviously they want to have full stadiums. That's how they make money. But
yeah,
if they can have half full or whatever,
I think obviously full is out of the question. Half full is probably very out of the question at this point too. But at least when they start, okay, so the season starts in December 22nd, whatever, and then the draft actually happened yesterday.
We're recording this on Thursday.
On Thursday, today is the 19th of November.
Yeah, so it's the day after the draft. Free agency starting now too, so we don't know anything free agency
yet. So I'm not familiar with normal draft, but when is the normal draft?
Normally, basically this week. So because all of a sudden, 3 weeks ago they announced, we're starting the season.
Right.
They had to jam everything like into a very short. So normally you have the trade moratorium.
Well, normally the season will already start by now.
Yeah, by now. No, there's 3 different things that are all happening this week that normally are much spread apart, which is the trade moratorium. So after the All-Star break every year, you can't trade after that, right? That's the trade deadline. And then that's lifted basically after the season, normally before the draft.
Right.
And then you have the NBA draft in the summer, normally June, basically a few weeks after the finals. And then like a month later, you have free agency start. Now, Monday was the trade lifting. Mm-hmm. That's when we had like Chris Paul, who's coming to the Suns. Very excited. We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
Then Wednesday was the draft, and then Thursday is free agency. So it's like boom, boom, boom,
okay,
all in a row. So today, free agency is happening. A bunch more is going to change of probably what I'm going to say. or basically things I'm going to say is going to be outdated almost immediately, but that's okay. So yeah, they're doing all of that, and then training camp starts next week, and
Okay,
then in
so
a month they'll be back in.
Free agency that starts today, you said.
It actually starts. What time is it? I think it started.
11:30.
I think it already started.
Okay, so that means players that are free agents are free to move. Is that what it means?
Yeah.
Okay, like any other sport.
You can
basically.
officially sign
Right.
contracts, which is. Did you hear the Milwaukee Bucks thing that happened?
No.
So they had what's called a sign and trade with the Kings for Bogdanovich. Is that his name? There's two Bogdanoviches. I might have said the wrong one. Anyways, Bogdanovich from the Kings. They were doing a sign and trade, and they announced this on Monday, which basically means a guy signs with the Kings, but then immediately, as soon as he re-signs his contract, he gets traded to the Bucks. Well, they announced this on Monday. Here's the problem. Free agency is until Thursday. So they basically broke the rules with tampering. And now they're saying the trade may be voided and the Bucks may be fucked, which have you paid much attention to all the trades that happened?
No. I mean, a few that are headlines, but not all
So
day.
Drew Holiday from the Pelicans got traded to the Bucks for 3 first-round draft picks and 2 pick swaps, which just means a potential of 5 first-round draft picks for Drew Holiday, who has 1 year on his contract. His contract expires after the season. I mean, that's so insane. For 1 year of a guy who, I mean, Drew Holiday, I like Drew Holiday. He's a good player. He's not a top 25 player. So to trade potentially 5 first rounders for him is fucking insane. But they did it because they want to keep Giannis. Supposedly, because Giannis's contract ends this year. And so supposedly they said because they signed Drew Holiday, he's going to re-sign. We'll see. But then they also got Bogdanovich, who's a very good player. And now it looks like they might not get him because they fucked up. Because they basically announced this before free agency, which is in complete violation of the tampering rules. So it's just a mess for the Bucks.
So let me back up a little bit about the Players Association starting the season. So obviously with no fans revenue as far as people going to the stadiums, and the same thing that happened basically last season, the one that officially ended in October, but it was canceled in March. So obviously all the owners lost a lot of revenue from fans not going to the stadiums. And now they're going to be in the same situation. So is that affecting the salary cap?
No.
All?
Yes, but no. They're splitting it. So basically the salary cap was projected to be like 117 or something million, I think, this year. And it's going to be 109 or 110, I think is what it is. And then, the salary cap was expected to go to like 130, 140, whatever, over the next few years. And now it doesn't look like that's going to happen. It's going to be flat or going up a little bit.
Okay. So my follow-up question is, what happens with the players that had these huge contracts? Not the role players and stuff, but the stars that had these contracts. Do they have clauses that say, I don't care about the salary cap, my salary is what it is?
Yeah, the salary is independent of the salary cap.
Oh, really?
So
I thought the salary cap was just the salary cap. I mean,
no,
that's the maximum payroll a team can have per year for all their players.
Yeah, before they go into you can go over the cap, but you start paying fees. That's when you start hearing about the luxury tax,
right?
Which basically, say you're $10 million over the cap. Well, then you have to pay. I think it's 1.5 times that basically to all the other teams. So if you're over the cap, $10 million, then I believe you have to pay $5 million to all the other teams, and it gets split up. So when you have,
so it's not 1.5, it's half.
Or I'm sorry, it's basically but basically if you're, I'm sorry, I said it wrong. Like if you're an owner and you sign a guy to $10 million, if it's over the luxury, it's $15 million. It's going out of pocket, but the rest is going to the other teams. So you have some teams like the Warriors, who they literally pay like 30-40 million in luxury tax every year to the other teams because of the contracts they have.
So I mean, the salary cap really is a thing to protect the lower teams, but really the rich teams that can afford, like the Warriors.
Yeah,
and
but
stuff.
even the Warriors, I mean, teams don't like paying the luxury. Okay,
Obviously nobody likes
they
to
do
pay
it if
extra.
they think they can win championships. But the problem is you have teams like the Pistons who pay the luxury tax because they have Blake Griffin and these mega contracts,
Right.
and they fucking don't even make the playoffs.
Right.
And they don't sell out stadium. I mean, they're losing money. So that's why this year.
But I
like,
mean, the other teams benefit. I mean,
yeah, the other teams benefit,
But
but
let me
trust
ask you,
me, the
if-
second, basically, look at what the Pistons did this year. They had big contracts, Andre Drummond, different guys. They got rid of them for pennies on the dollar just because the owner said, listen, I'm not paying $20 million in luxury tax to these fucking teams if I'm not even making the playoffs. I'm not even
but that's
selling
the
out
thing.
my stadium.
Like teams that have, I mean, there's some players that have pretty hefty long-term contracts for $30 million a year, $35 million a year, things like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Russell Westbrook is
Right.
in the 45
That's
plus.
the one I was thinking about. So,
Yeah.
So obviously, when you sign a contract with those
James
players,
Harden just turned down the largest potential ever, which was a $50 million a year contract.
right? So
with the
when you sign
Rockets.
those contracts with those players for like 3, 4, 5 years, whatever, and you have this expectancy of expectations of getting this kind of money from the league, and every year, and all of a sudden this comes, do the owners have the ability to restructure the contracts, or basically it's a matter of convincing the players? I mean, some players I know, they adjust their contracts so the team can get other players and make the team better.
But that's before it's signed, not after.
So they don't like, if I have a salary of $40 million a year, and like, come year 2, year 3, this is happening, and I say, oh shoot, the team is on a bind now because they cannot.
Dude, players don't give a fuck.
No, but if I'm into championships, like,
Yeah, but they don't care.
and I say that my salary is preventing the team from getting another guy that is good for $10 million, I can say, hey, restructure. I mean,
No,
in football they do that all the
that's-
time. Tom Brady did it all the time.
No, but they do it when you re-sign, not once you already have a contract.
Well, can I just?
If Russell Westbrook was re-signing and then a place said, hey, listen, we can't afford to pay you the max, but we can pay you this, but we can win a championship,
No, but there's
then
the-
he could consider it, but not when you're already on a contract.
But the-
Plus, by the way, guys don't give a
Well,
fuck.
I know that's another topic, but no, I've seen. I think I know of players
when
that
when their contract expires.
No.
I've
Even-
never heard of a player like a guy who's making $40 million say, "Oh, I'm gonna go down to 30 so you can." I've never seen that ever happen
really
in the NBA.
Okay,
No.
I thought that. Well, not in the NBA, but in other leagues, I think. Like in football, some players have done like, okay, let me restructure my contract, and then we open.
I don't know. I'm not an
cap.
expert on the NFL. I don't know.
Oh, all right.
But
So
no, that
so,
never happens.
So basically, the players that have these huge contracts are locked in, and they have that contract, and even there's no force majeure or something for the owners to say, "Hey, we have
Well,
a
the only
clause."
thing was the escrow. So they did this escrow. I didn't want to get on the weeds on this. People, there's great articles online if you want to look up the salary cap situation. I don't know how many people care about this, but they're doing a 40% escrow, which basically means that if you're making $10 million a year, that's your contract. $4 million of that, 40% is going to be an escrow, and then depending on the end of year league revenues, you may or may not get that money, and so that's how they're doing it.
Oh, okay. So that's part of the agreement that was there in place.
Yes.
So it's 40%.
So normally they have this, but it's 10%. And basically over the last decade, players not only have they gotten their money, but they've actually gotten more because based on the league revenues, basically the league's been beating revenue numbers pretty much every year for many years now. And this will be the first year in a while that there's a decrease in revenue. And it's a massive decrease in
well,
revenue.
obviously, I can imagine.
I mean, we're talking. There's some estimates that said basically the NBA was projecting to hit $10 billion in revenue this year for the first time, and they may do like $5 billion. So that's a huge difference.
But no, I totally understand that.
And
that's
basically
why
the
I
players and the owners split it 50-50 under the current agreement. The CBA, the collective bargaining, which was agreed upon after the last strike many years ago, it was 50-50. And so obviously, if all of a sudden the revenue goes from 10 billion to 5 billion, that 50-50 gets cut in half too. So these are the complicated things. Go read Brian Rindhorst from ESPN wrote a great article on it. Go read it if you want nitty-gritty details. But basically, yeah, there's an escrow. Players may or may not get paid their full contracts depending on the revenue the league does over the next few years.
So really, when you think about
So
a
a guy
player
like
making
so a guy like Steph Curry who lives in California, they were running the numbers, and it's like his contract is $40 million, after the escrow, after paying his agents, after taxes in California, all of that. A guy like that who makes $40 million could have walked away with like 11, 12.
Yeah, well, I don't feel sorry for him. Because
No, but
no, more than the,
listen,
yeah,
I understand. Yeah, okay, so you still make $12 million. You're doing fine.
No,
but
plus
listen, you sign a contract for $40 million.
No, I completely
You come
understand
away with
that.
11.
But,
That's a
in
big
those,
difference.
In those high-level star players, they also have a lot of different contracts, endorsements, and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
that
of
compensate.
course.
I'm more thinking about the player that makes
But it applies to everybody.
6-7 million.
Yeah, it
right,
applies to them
exactly.
too.
That guy making 7 million, and then after the 40% ends up with maybe 4.5, 5. And then pays the
Right.
agent, pays taxes
And it's a
because it's
big deal,
already
because
high
remember,
income.
like-
and then you have all these kind of living expenses and all that stuff. and
Remember,
then-
a lot of these guys, you know, if you make $7 million a year, and all of a sudden you walk away with 3 instead of 5 like you thought you were, most of these guys, yeah. First of all, okay, $3 million is still a lot of money, but keep in mind, these guys' careers are short. It's not
yeah,
like
I know.
like their career. Most guys don't play past 35. There's exceptions, but most guys don't.
If
and
that.
if you're that type of player who makes $7 million a year, a lot of times you don't have guaranteed contracts. A lot of times you're you're getting traded constantly and moving from city to city. You have lots of expenses. I mean, it's not easy. It's not.
Yeah,
easy.
it's not. I
And
mean,
so
we think that everybody's at that level, but
right. Obviously, you have
It's not.
for every Steph Curry or LeBron or whoever who gets ridiculous amounts of money. Most of the players,
well,
they
that's
don't
why
make that type
that's
of
what I
money.
was wondering about the players' association, because that union of players is representing more the low income, or quote unquote
The low income, yes.
the lower income players more than the stars. And so but at the end of the day, I mean, revenues are revenues. If the league is making less money,
Right.
and obviously fans are not going or not allowed to go, TV revenue is kind of doubtful, the rules. I mean, I don't think it's being affected much because a lot of people that are going to the stadium are not watching. I mean, I think the bubble had pretty good ratings.
No, actually,
Didn't?
no. Ratings for sports across the board are down.
Overall, they're down, but I mean, it wasn't like that big of a
No,
drop,
it was
right?
a pretty big drop.
I thought the finals were lower because the finals were not that interesting, but
No, it was pretty much across the board.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
But it was the same for the World Series. It was the same for hockey. Basically, all the sport. The Masters this weekend
Yeah.
had like half the viewership of last year. They said.
okay.
Obviously, Tiger Woods winning it last year helps, but it was down.
I
even
mean, it
from
was
the-
a good. I mean, Dustin Johnson won the Masters and but it was. I mean, it was later. I mean, normally the Masters is in April. They play in November. Weather delays, whatever. But I don't know why the Masters will be less people watching.
I don't know exactly. I mean,
where
the NBA
people are-
stuff. Keep in mind, at the same time, you had you had like debates and political stuff going
Right,
on.
right.
So, and then they competed with the NFL, which is a huge deal.
Right.
So when you have games on the same night as football, that's a big deal. So that's why the ratings were down.
But I think if anything, people are watching more.
The Masters was down because guess what? It was on the Masters main day is Sunday. What else is on Sunday?
Yeah, NFL
Football.
Yeah, normal. That's an exception, obviously.
Normally the Masters are in April.
in
Football's
April.
over,
Right. And it's just before the NBA gets fully critical.
and it's before the NBA playoffs.
Right.
So it's like a perfect sweet spot.
Yeah, no, exactly. But yeah, I mean, if anything, I think it's and if anything happens, I mean, I'm more into, as people know, auto racing stuff. But everything is being crunched so much that sometimes you have too many sports and you cannot watch everything you want. I mean, normally it's like tennis tournaments and stuff. I mean, they have like the U.S. Open and the French Open were like 2 weeks apart, and normally, obviously, the French Open is in May. Finishing usually towards the end of May, Memorial Day or something, and then the U.S. Open is Labor Day weekend, another area. Now they had it back to back, so they were freezing cold in the French Open, and it's competing with a lot of other sports stuff. So I mean, it's the same thing in racing. You have all these, races back to back, and I'll have Formula One is still racing next weekend in Abu Dhabi, I think. Before I think it's Bahrain, and then they go to Abu Dhabi, but they have 3 more events still, and. It's crazy because we're gonna be racing until December, which never happens, So I think it's saturation with sports because everybody's trying to condense everything in as much as they can. But I do think people are watching. I mean, I don't know if the audience is split, but I think if you look at how many people are watching sports in general, and I actually here in Arizona, or at least in Phoenix, I see sports bars pretty full. I don't know about the social distance stuff, but you see them like. When there's football games, the patios and the terraces and all that stuff outside is pretty busy. So, but let me get back to NBA draft, which is what happened yesterday. So I admit, I don't know idea of who was the number 1, 2, 3, who was. I mean, I know the lottery happened months ago, and
No, it was like a month ago.
a month ago, the lottery, the picking the balls. I thought that was a long time ago.
It was in September, I think.
Okay.
So 2 months ago, I guess.
All right, yeah, I know it was a while ago, but for my standards, but all right. So any surprises? I mean, number 1 was, I mean, the number. I'm looking at the numbers, otherwise I wouldn't know. But I know the Timberwolves were number 1. The Warriors usually were number 2 pick. They had the second worst record in the league, or third or something. I don't know. They were
One of the worst, but they do the
They
lottery.
do the lottery, right? So, anyways, the number 1 pick was for the Timberwolves. Number 2 were for the Warriors. Number 3 for the Hornets. Number 4 for the Bulls, and number 5 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So those are the top 5 picks. Then after that, you go Hawks, Pistons, Knicks, and so forth. So, any surprises with the top 5? I guess. I mean, was the draft strong this year as far as
No,
players
I
coming
mean,
from?
nobody really. I mean, it was kind of back and forth. For a while, they said, "Oh, LaMelo's going number 1 for sure," and then he ended up going number
LaMelo
3.
Ball, I mean,
Ball.
the brother of Lonzo.
Of Lonzo, of the Ball,
And-
the final brother of the Ball family is in the NBA now.
So the middle brother is not gonna make it. I know have
He's on a G League team, but he's not that good. He's
Okay.
not gonna make it. No.
So this guy is the youngest.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's probably the best. I don't know. Personally, I think LaMelo. I mean, it's nothing people haven't heard before. He's been around for years. People have known about him. He's just very. We've never seen him in like a real system. He's always played like undisciplined basketball because he's basically been like the only good player on his team. He went to Lithuania and then Australia and all these teams, and it's like where the team was catered to him.
Yeah.
Now in Charlotte, team might be catered to him too. I don't know, but
Well, the owner, we know who it is there.
yeah, I mean it'll be interesting.
Mr. MJ.
It'll be interesting if I mean I don't think LeVar Ball is going to say anything, but I would love to see them finally do their one-on-one
No,
basketball
they're not gonna do
tournament.
that,
That would
but,
be interesting.
They're not gonna do that. But I remember that when Lonzo was starting with the Lakers, that LeVar was kind of criticizing the coach and all that stuff, and kind of
Right.
trying to say doesn't get enough minutes and he's not playing the right position, you know,
Right.
things like that. So I wonder how much.
Now, I think the Westbrook trade is off the table. They were saying before that Charlotte was going to trade for Westbrook. Now that they got LaMelo, I don't know why they would trade for Westbrook then, because they're gonna why draft LaMelo if then you're just gonna bring in another guy who's gonna be the ball hog point guard. That's supposed to be LaMelo's job, but anyways,
but he wasn't the number 1.
no, he was number 3.
Okay, so number 1 was
Anthony Edwards.
okay. He went to the Timberwolves. Number 2
so
was
the joke that's been going around that I said a couple weeks ago is I don't know if you'll get this, but Minnesota Timberwolves have now drafted another Andrew Wiggins, who was the number 1 draft pick a few years ago, who they gave a $30-something million contract to, that now plays for the Warriors because they dumped him. And now they basically, the whole thing with Andrew Wiggins was hyper athletic guard with a ton of upside potential, but he can't shoot, and he's got a lot of questions as far as his effort and defense and how much he is dedicated to the game. Does that sound familiar? Anthony Edwards is basically the same player.
What about Kyrie Irving? Wasn't he also? Where did he come from when he went to Cleveland?
He was the number 1. No, he was the number 1 pick for Cleveland.
Oh, for Cleveland.
Yes, and then
I
Andrew
thought
Wiggins.
It was traded.
No, that was Andrew Wiggins.
Oh, okay.
Andrew
that's what I
Wiggins
thought.
was the number 1 pick
Okay.
for Cleveland. When LeBron went there, he said, "Trade it, get us Kevin Love."
I got
so
it.
they traded
Okay.
to Minnesota for
So
Kevin
I
Love.
thought that was part of the
Right.
Kyrie Irving year too. All right, so okay, so they have Anthony Edwards. Then the Warriors got James Wiseman.
Yeah, he's
that,
fine. I
The
don't know.
Warriors just got some bad news.
Yeah, it looks like Klay Thompson pulled his, or what is it? He tore his
Achilles.
Maybe. I don't
In
know.
practice.
As of right now, we don't know. It's a rumor. By the time people watch this, they probably
Yeah,
know.
I mean that would be freaking bad luck for that
That'll
guy.
be a bummer, man. Because that's another season he's gonna
well,
miss.
he missed.
He missed the whole
last year,
season.
the whole season because
Yeah.
of injury in the playoffs the year before.
in the finals.
In the finals, yeah, it was a knee ACL or
ACL.
something. Yeah, So he basically missed the whole season. The Warriors decided just to dump the season pretty much. They didn't even make any bubbles playoffs, nothing obviously, and that's why they're number 2 in the draft. And then now that they're hoping to be back in full strength, they got the number 1 and the number 2 draft in the first round, and then now Klay Thompson injures again in practice. So yeah, I don't want to speculate, but if it's something serious that is going to be affecting, I mean, if he's Achilles, he's pretty much done again for the season before it even starts. If it's something less, obviously, it's still going to put a delay, but we'll see. Anything else? I mean, the Warriors were supposed to be back. That's the thing that you and I were talking yesterday, that the Warriors really are getting the number 2 draft pick, but it's kind of like they're not a bad team, basically.
They're not. No, that's why it's a great opportunity. Now, James Wiseman, personally, I'm not big on James Wiseman. I think he could be, his upside is like a very, I'm trying to think who would be a good comparison. Like maybe like a Serge Ibaka type. He's bigger, so he could be like a better version of Serge Ibaka, which would be good. I don't think he's going to be like a franchise centerpiece that when Steph and Klay are gone, that he's going to be like the man. I don't think he's going to be that good. No.
Okay. All right. So any other, so how will you qualify the draft yesterday or rate it? Was it pretty much as expected for all teams as far as the projections?
No, I mean, there's a lot of randomness. Like Denny Advia, the Israeli player who went 9th, he was projected 4th or 5th. He ended up falling to 9.
Okay.
Yeah. Tyrese Halliburton, who went 12th to the Kings, was projected to go like 5th. And so, yeah, there were some guys who dropped. Obviously, my Phoenix Suns, as always, took a guy who nobody knew who he was and was projected to go in the 20s. They took him at number 10, Jalen Smith.
Yeah. Where does he play?
He's from your alma mater, from Maryland.
From the Terps, yeah. But what position does he play?
Stretch 4/stretch 5.
What does that mean?
Center or
in American English,
center or power forward. You know, the thing with basketball, it's not really positions anymore. I mean, it's positionless basketball.
Yeah, well, top
you
5.
basically you have guards, wings, and bigs. Those are the 3. And so he's a big who can shoot.
So there's no centers or stuff like that. Or?
Well, there is, but like basically it's more guards, wings, bigs. It's not so much like power forward. I mean, there is, but it's much less so. So on paper, he is a power forward.
All right,
but he's basically a big dude who's got like a 7'3" wingspan who can shoot threes. That's who they picked.
Don't we have who's our big center now?
Deandre Ayton. Yes,
DeAndre
the number
Ayton.
1 pick that we took 2 years ago. Yes.
Yeah, as opposed to the one that you wanted ready to take.
Yeah, Luka Doncic. Yeah, unfortunately, we passed on Luka, but that's okay.
But the thing is, so these 2 guys are going to be playing the same position?
I don't know. I have no idea. He's probably going to play backup 5 for Ayton, and then maybe they'll play together a little bit. We'll see. He's very good on defense. He looks like he could be a good... I mean, it's an upside pick. So it's one of those things where the guy, if he lives up to his potential, he could be really, really, really good. But that's that's kind of the story for a lot of drafts players.
Right. All right. So what number were the Lakers probably last?
I don't even think they had a pick. I think they traded
the first round. They traded it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe they did. I don't know. But
yeah. Okay. So as far as the draft, obviously the Suns selected a player that was supposed to be lower, whatever. I mean, they actually did the same thing before, ended up well. So
they did the same thing last year. Cam Johnson worked out pretty well. He's really good.
Any other surprises as far as the draft before we jump into trades and things like that? It's over, right? Or do they have different days?
No, it's over. Okay. It's not like the NFL. There's only 2 rounds. It's done.
2 rounds and done. Okay.
No, I mean, there's
that's tough. I mean, so 2 rounds is how many players?
60.
60 players.
Yeah.
That's it. All the college kids, only 60 make it to a draft. And the rest go where? Home?
They either stay in college and play more, they go to Europe, Asia, whatever, or they just
Wow,
are
so
done.
that's kind of hard to make the NBA then.
Oh, shit.
No,
yeah.
I understand. But I mean...
Yeah, and by the way, obviously there's 60 players. only 20 of them will probably have careers.
No, yeah, okay. So like in the NFL, I know they have like
Yeah, but keep in mind,
Freaking
NBA
gazillion.
rosters are 12 dudes, 12 to 15. And NFL has how many people on a roster? Like 70?
yeah in the beginning until they start trimming. But yeah, they have practice squads or this or that and all that stuff. But yeah, no, NBA is tough because I mean it's just weird because this year without any NCAA tournament, which is when I usually start looking at players and kind of getting myself a
Well,
little
the tournament's
acquainted.
not a good gauge for players because you only get to see 1 or 2 games of them, and most of them they get if you see one game of a guy eliminated in the first round, then it's not a good gauge.
Well, but normally the good guys or some of the guys get to the Final Four or the Elite Eight. or
no,
something.
not always.
Really?
It's a crapshoot. Plus, a lot of guys don't even make the tournament. I mean.
Yeah, well,
Ben
I mean,
Simmons was the number 1 pick, didn't make the tournament. LSU. John Morant last year, number 2 pick, didn't make the tournament. Zion at Duke, I think when did they get eliminated? Like the Sweet 16 or something?
Yeah.
No, I don't. The tournament is, I actually think, is a terrible gauge for players. Deandre Ayton, number 1 pick, he eliminated first round with Arizona. I think it's a terrible gauge for players. I think people put way too much stock on the on the tournament. It's much better to just look at the season.
Okay, maybe I'm looking to the old times when Jordan and all that stuff were there and everybody was
Well, back then, dudes used to play for 3-4 years.
know.
But when you're
right.
one and done,
One and done, yeah.
If you're one and done and then you lose in the second round, that's 2 games. You're gonna judge a player off of 2 games.
Yeah, and now players are a little more reluctant to really play hard and get injured or something, and something happens. So, all right, so let's get to trades. I know the Suns. I mean, there's been a lot of trade rumors and trade speculations with the big players like the James Harden, Westbrook, and all that. I do know about CP, Chris Paul,
Point guard,
that
Chris Paul.
yeah, that I'm not a huge fan of myself, but
So I don't know why. You never explain
okay,
it.
I
You
just
say, "Oh, he hasn't won a championship." Okay, yeah,
no,
but it's hard to
not-
win a
it's not
championship,
that.
man.
It's not that. It's just that. Anyways, I mean, it's very subjective. I mean, I think he's
He's the best pure point guard in the
Okay,
league.
I'm not talking about his basketball qualities as a personal, a dirty player.
He's not a dirty
reputation.
player.
Oh, I mean,
He's a competitor. He's a
well,
dog.
that's supposed to be competitor, but he was voted the dirtiest player by the rest of the team, by the rest of the players. So that tells you
Dirtiest
something.
player.
Yeah, that was a while. You can Google it. How when 2 or 3 years ago, they said that the player that is always doing shit stuff. So, anyways, but let's
He's also the president of the Players Association.
Yes.
So I think he has a
Which-
decent amount of respect from the players.
yeah,
Because they're the ones who vote on it. You know
Okay.
that, right? They elected
well,
him.
because they want some asshole to be representing them.
He's the smartest player in the league. He's the best pure point guard in the league. And he's got the veteran leadership. He wanted to play with Devin Booker. He made it very clear, I want to go to Phoenix. And we got him. And
Right.
look, he
Perfect.
hasn't had a... If you look at his last 9 seasons, he hasn't missed the playoffs. He makes the playoffs every year. The Suns haven't made the playoffs in the last decade.
Maybe this year is the first time he
Okay.
misses it.
No.
All right, no. Well, let's be. I mean, I don't want to be criticizing him. I mean, he's coming to the Suns. That's perfect. I mean,
Dude,
I'm sorry that
he took
okay. Let
a
me
shitty
let me-
OKC team last year
Yes,
who nobody thought was
okay.
going to make the playoffs. They were the 5 seed. They took the Rockets to Game 7 when he had
Okay.
nobody with him.
All right. So Chris Paul, who basically went to Houston, famously didn't get along with Harden like many other players. Went to Oklahoma.
Whoa. You kind of glossed over that. They almost won a championship together.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, well,
they-
he ended up leaving because they couldn't be playing together. I mean, that's
yeah,
the
but that's
Rockets,
because go play with James Harden and see how
well,
fun
no,
it is.
that's why I don't even watch it. But anyways, the Rockets are now disintegrating, starting with the coach leaving and the new owner, and everybody's upset with each other. And now even Harden wants to leave, which is another fucking story. But anyway, so Chris Paul goes to Oklahoma, does very well, takes him to the playoffs and other stuff, and then now he's coming to Phoenix, and he's being traded for my compatriot Ricky Rubio,
the Spaniard.
the Spaniard, world champion, mind you,
Yeah.
and
Well, now he's already been traded again.
Yeah,
So
I know.
We traded him to OKC with Kelly Oubre and some other
I
stuff.
think he bought a house in OKC, and
They knew he was going to get traded. It
Yeah.
was known they weren't going to keep him. So now he's back in Minnesota where he started.
and he actually liked that city. So
That's a
good
big
for him.
difference. Moving from Phoenix to Minneapolis.
But he lived there for 6-7
I know,
years.
I
He
know.
actually said that he loved it there.
Yeah, I'm sure he loved it.
No, but seriously, I mean, I read actually interviews of him in the Spanish newspapers back in the days, and he's kind of bohemian stuff, and he likes that kind of like small town environment stuff, and he actually enjoyed living there.
I'm sure he did.
So, anyways, I mean, he did well for the Suns. You can't complain. I mean,
I really
Suns were
liked
8-0 in the bubble.
I really liked Ricky Rubio. I love Ricky. I mean, he's
I
very
think-
good. He's the best point guard we've had in a decade.
Right.
But we upgraded.
That's fine. Okay, so he's gone. And then who's the other player that we traded for?
Kelly Oubre.
Okay, and I don't know much about him. You like
I
him?
love
too?
Kelly Oubre.
I think he was injured or something too. No.
He didn't play in the bubble.
Okay, that's why. That's
But
why.
he did play, obviously, last year. He's very good. I'd like Kelly Oubre, young, great guy.
Young guy, yeah.
Culture setter, Valley Boys.
So, any other additions or subtractions from the Suns other than obviously the draft pick?
We traded a future first, the 2022 first.
So, with that said, are we better off now than we were before?
Fuck yes.
Okay, yeah.
We're a
how
playoff
much?
team.
Okay, you think so?
100%.
Okay.
Unless, other than injuries, 100%.
Okay, so now, as we are now, we should be able to make the playoffs.
Yes.
Despite the fact that maybe Warriors are now stronger too. If
That was, by the way, with expecting Klay Thompson to play. If Klay Thompson's injured, we might even be better than the Warriors now. If they just have Steph and Draymond.
So who's dropping out of the playoffs from this year to next year for the Suns to make it, in your opinion?
Well, you have like the different. I don't know what's gonna happen with the Rockets. Who knows? As of right now, they still have Westbrook and Harden. So as of right now, they're still a playoff team. Now, if both of them are out, I have no idea what's gonna happen with the Rockets.
Well, I mean, they're not going to trade. I mean, anyways, we'll get to that. But I mean, I heard about maybe even trading Ben Simmons for Harden. or something.
Yeah, we'll see. It's pure speculation, so I have
Right.
no idea. But anyways, as of right now, you have the top teams. So you obviously have the Lakers, you have the Clippers, you have the Rockets, you have the Nuggets. Those would be like my top four in the West. Those are obviously the
How
teams
about
that.
Dallas? And
That's my top four. Like, if you go by tiers, like these are like the championship contenders in the West. You have the Lakers, the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Rockets. The Rockets are kind of fringe, but whatever. And then after that, you have the next group, and that's where I would kind of probably put the Suns, which is the Warriors. Again, I don't know what's gonna happen with Klay, but I'll put the Warriors in there. Dallas. Utah, and then the Suns. That would be, so that's the other 8 teams. You have the first 4 and then the other 4. And then after that, you have a bunch of fringe teams who I would pull it Portland, Minnesota, Memphis. I don't think Memphis can be that good this year. Jaren Jackson's injured for the first half of the season, probably anyways. Sacramento, maybe. If they lose Bogdanovich, I don't think they're going to be that good. Now, they got Tyrese Halliburton, who I really like. But, yeah, I would say kind of my end and then the Spurs. I don't know exactly what the Spurs are going to do, but they're still going to be good. They still have DeRozan and Aldridge. So, yeah, I mean, you have like 12, 13 teams that are going to be fighting
And this
playoff
year is the
spots.
first year they're going to have these playoffs with 10 teams, where the first 7.
Yeah, so
automatically
So
qualify?
they had the play-ins. So the first 6 make it, but then
first 6.
7, 10 play and 8, 9 play
Okay.
for a play-in, basically.
So they have the mini playoff before the playoffs, the qualifying games. Yeah, that's kind of like what they did.
So
and,
I think the Suns' upside, high side, could be 4, 5 seed
Ooh.
on the upside. I think more realistically, probably 7, 8. If you have Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Rockets, if they stay, and then let's say Dallas 5, and then Utah 6, then I think Suns could be like 7, 8. Now, I think the Suns could jump like Utah, Dallas if Rockets fall out. So they could be like a 4 or 5 on the ceiling side, but I think more realistically somewhere between 6 and 8. Yeah,
All right, so let's.
which I will take. We haven't made the playoffs in 10
I know.
years.
Well, let's go to the major trades that we're listening or hearing about, and I don't know when they're going to happen or if, but we have Westbrook.
It looks like Westbrook's
Harden.
gone.
Westbrook is going to where?
I don't know, but it looks like he's gone. It
Okay.
was Charlotte. It might be Orlando. There's kind
about-
of different rumors.
There was no.
Could be the Knicks. I don't think the Knicks are going to do it, but they could. Who knows? You never know with the
the
Knicks.
Knicks or the Nets.
Knicks. No,
Okay.
Westbrook's not going to the Nets.
I don't know.
Nuts?
No, obviously. Well, I
He's
don't
going
know.
to reunite with KD?
Yeah.
No.
So Harden is the one that maybe reunited.
Yeah,
with
Harden
Kid.
wants to go to Brooklyn. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. It looks like the more likely is that there will be Ben Simmons for James Harden. Because obviously Daryl Morey.
So, but the news is that James Harden is the one that is requesting a trade.
Oh, they're both requesting trades, Westbrook and Harden.
Well, okay. So why this exodus from Houston? What happened?
I don't know. Guys want to win. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean,
Westbrook wants his own team. Westbrook doesn't want to be the second fiddle.
Well, he knew he was going to be the second fiddle when he went there.
I know.
What's the deal?
You want me to get in the minds of guys who make $40 million a year?
It just tells me that, I mean, we back up a little bit. Westbrook was in Oklahoma. He was the man. And then he recruited Paul George.
Let's be very clear. The way Russell Westbrook sees himself is not the way most people see him. Okay? He thinks he is one of, if not the best players in the league, and that he should be basically in the same breath as the KDs and LeBrons and all of them.
Yeah, well,
we know he's not. But that doesn't mean he doesn't think that.
Well,
he gets paid $45 million a year to play basketball. He thinks he's the best player in the league, or one of them.
Well, that's because they overpaid him. But the main thing is he was in Oklahoma. He criticized KD when he went to the Warriors. Fine. And then he recruited Paul George and tried to be buddy. So Paul George will renew with Oklahoma. Paul George didn't stay in Oklahoma.
And he got eliminated in the first round of the playoffs.
Right, exactly.
Twice.
Yeah, which basically means that he's not that.
First round 1 year. I think second round the next year. Anyways.
Right. So anyways,
twice.
so then
Paul George leaves.
he gets reunited with when Chris Paul goes from Clippers to Rockets, and they are like
James Harden.
Okay, yeah, I know, because they said, okay, now we're gonna be stronger and win the championship. They don't win it either, and then Chris Paul and James Harden end up from being best buddies to he handles the ball too much. Whatever happened there, Chris Paul is out and Harden is there, and then Westbrook comes in. He already was Harden's team.
Hold on. James Harden specifically wanted Russell Westbrook.
Right.
Daryl Morey did not want Russell Westbrook. He said he doesn't fit the team. James Harden says, I want Russell Westbrook. The owners go override the GM
and get Russell Westbrook. The coach? What about D'Antoni? Did he want Westbrook and Harden?
No. Morey and D'Antoni did not want Westbrook. Because who does Morey like? Daryl Morey likes high efficiency, good shooters. What is the complete opposite of that? Russell Westbrook, okay?
Right.
And he was only there because of James Harden. And now James Harden, a year later, after that doesn't work, says, you know what? I want out of here. I know you made all these concessions for me. I know you mortgaged the future. You've traded the Rockets have no fucking draft picks.
Right.
Okay. They traded them to all the OKC
because they have these players with high contracts they can't even unload.
We got this guy who you wanted. It didn't work out. And now you want to be traded. And not only do you want to be traded, there's 29 other teams in the league, and you only want to go to Brooklyn. Oh, and you have 2 years on your contract left, so we don't have to do anything.
Right.
And that's basically what the GM said. They have a new GM. Daryl Morey's now in the Sixers, but the new Rockets GM says, listen, I don't have to do anything. I'm not doing anything unless we get a really good offer.
Right.
And the Nets offer, for me personally, I don't like that much. It's Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie and Jared Allen. I like all three of those guys. I like Karis LeVert. I like Spencer Dinwiddie a lot. I actually think Dinwiddie's underrated. But they're not James Harden. They're not even
James
close.
Harden wants to go to the Nets. You think it's because obviously
it's because he's friends with KD. He's been friends with KD since they were in OKC, and he wants to win a championship.
And you think it has anything to do with D'Antoni being there too, or
you mean Steve Nash?
Steve Nash is the head coach, but D'Antoni is the assistant.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to do with
did I teach you something about basketball?
That's right. I forgot about that. Sorry. Because I forgot that D'Antoni he kind of went under the radar with that.
Yeah.
No, but...
which D'Antoni was Steve Nash's coach, by the way, when he was with the Suns. Right. And now it's going to be reversed.
I do think it would be funny if Daryl Morey trades for him. That would be something.
Yeah.
Daryl Morey wants to win a championship with James Harden. He's going to die on that fucking sword.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I mean, it's interesting, but I totally agree with you that...
if I'm the Rockets and they say, we'll give you Ben Simmons for James Harden, I do that. I don't even... It's not a question. I don't think twice. I say, done deal.
Okay, well that's the thing that I was going to ask you. If the Rockets and the Philadelphia 76ers agree on that trade, do you think that will convince Westbrook to stay?
No, fuck. If I get Ben Simmons, Westbrook can fuck off. I don't want Westbrook anymore.
Really? I mean,
Westbrook and Ben Simmons?
I don't know.
Two point guards who can't shoot? No, I don't want them on the same team.
Okay.
Westbrook, bye.
Because
You
maybe
can
Westbrook
go.
thinks that's going to be my team now because
No.
Harden's gone.
No, are you crazy?
I don't
That
know.
would be the most inefficient team in the league. You have not one, but two ball-dominant point guards who can't shoot. Are
Okay,
you crazy?
That's why I don't comment on basketball.
Yeah, no. If I get Ben Simmons, then all bets are off. Then I'm basically saying, okay, Westbrook, Harden, you guys can fuck off. I'm building around Ben
All right.
Simmons.
All right. Calm down.
Oh, I've wanted for years Ben Simmons to have his own team. I think Ben Simmons could and should be a top
If
5
you want it
player
because
in the league.
what's his tall dude?
It's because he has Embiid, and they don't fit together.
Yeah,
and that's
Embiid,
fine. I
know
like
the
Embiid
the
a
guy's
lot.
the guy's kind of out of shape. He's
But if you
injury
gave me
prone.
a choice, if I'm the Sixers GM and you say you can keep one, Ben Simmons 100 times out of 100. I don't care. I want Ben Simmons. I want to build a team around
Right,
Ben
so-
Simmons. He is Magic Johnson. If Ben,
45 minutes.
I actually, I'm gonna put this out there as a Suns fan.
I'm gonna call this podcast
before the Chris Paul thing happened, when it was like, oh, maybe
this is MGR Sports Center. Welcome to the show.
maybe Ben Simmons might be traded. I was totally open to DeAndre Ayton for Ben Simmons. Now, unfortunately, they already have a center, so it would never happen.
All right, but let me-
Booker and Simmons, that would be a match made in heaven.
Okay,
oh my God.
so let me ask about the Clippers because I don't know. Is Paul George going anywhere?
I have no idea.
Is he
They haven't said
trading rumors with him or anything?
Yes, Kawhi is like, listen, I saw what this guy is like in the
I know.
playoffs. They were saying Chris Paul maybe, which would have been hilarious if they
going
end up
back, yeah.
getting Chris Paul back on the Clippers, Paul George back on the Thunder. That would have been hilarious, but obviously that's not happening.
So Kawhi doesn't like the effectiveness of Paul
Well,
George.
Kawhi just wants to win a championship.
Mr. PG-13
and
didn't
he'll
perform
get anybody he
like
can
a mature
get.
guy.
But I don't think they don't have a lot
Who's the
of
coach of the Clippers now? Who they get?
I forget. Man, there's been so many transactions.
I know. Where did Doc
forget.
Rivers go?
He's on the Sixers now.
He's on the Sixers.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Who is the
Daryl Morey is the
Clippers
GM. Doc Rivers went to the Sixers.
Is it Tyronn Lue?
Maybe. I think
I think it's Tyronn Lue.
he was the assistant in LA, right? Or no, was he assistant?
Yeah. I think it's Tyronn Lue.
Okay. Yeah. Because
Because
we
the
said
Rockets
that,
wanted Tyronn
because
Lue.
we said that he wasn't moving. Basically, he was in LA already.
Right, and the Rockets wanted
Okay.
Tyronn Lue, and then they ended up not
Okay.
hiring him.
So all right. So the Clippers. Any other thing with them? I mean,
Not so far. They made a
Okay.
small trade. They got rid of Landry Shamet for Luke Kennard.
what was the trade that the Lakers made?
Dennis Schroeder. That was a good move. I like that. Dennis
Okay.
Schroeder's a good point guard. They got rid of Danny Green, who's past his prime.
Yeah.
I like Dennis Schroeder. He was really good on OKC last year. The Lakers needed a guard. They basically played without a guard all year. Obviously, LeBron James is their point guard come playoffs time, really. But it's always nice to have another guard next, and they're gonna have him next to Rondo. It's a good move. Not a big move, but it's a good move.
Okay, well, so it starts on December 22nd. We're gonna have the Christmas lineup, the probably triple header, whatever, usually, and then so it looks like it's December 22nd. It's gonna be a reduced season, right? Like maybe 10 fewer
72
games,
games.
72 instead of 82. But pretty much, if everything goes according to plan, then we have a normal season, All-Star break, playoffs, everything starts on time.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the things.
Yeah, they want to get back on schedule, so that next season
right.
will happen like normal.
Right.
Like they're not having summer league, for example, which normally happens.
Right.
Obviously, they just had the draft. Normally, you have the draft in June, and the season starts in November.
Well, but now
this year you have the draft in November, and the
Okay.
season starts December.
But remember, one of the things that you and I were talking about is that the Olympics also were delayed.
The Olympics is not happening. I mean, I don't know what it might be happening, but no NBA players are going to the
Okay,
Olympics.
well, that's the thing. Well, before, when the league was planning on maybe starting January or February, they said, okay, we're going to run into all the Olympics. And they said, well, the Olympics
players
is great.
don't give a fuck about the Olympics.
Okay, so
if-
even if the season is over,
If the season's over, maybe they will. But
well,
if,
what I mean, that's what I'm saying.
but if the
they
players are
start-
playing in the playoffs, they don't care about the
No, the
Olympics.
players. But I mean, teams that don't make it far into the playoffs, like teams that are eliminated in the first or second round, players can easily go to Olympics in the
Sure,
summer
if they want to, yeah.
if they want to. So I mean, that's not.
I just don't think players care that much.
I think some players do.
Not really.
I mean, the players that haven't won a championship and they have a gold medal, which is almost like a sure thing for them, I think they do. I know players that do.
It doesn't mean that much to them.
No, for the LeBrons and people that have already
No, even
Olympic
to
medals.
other guys. I mean,
I don't know.
listen, we saw what happened last year. It's like
Last year?
Yeah, remember in the FIBA championship?
Oh, that was the World Championship. The World Championship, I think, is different. They don't care so
nobody
much.
gave a fuck. None
I know.
of the good players won.
Yes, I know. That was the FIBA is a big difference than the Olympics. The Olympic medal
I know.
and the
of
Olympic
course,
experience.
it's cool to get a gold medal, but
Right.
like the truth
And
is,
all these players,
the
I
U.S.
mean-
wins every time. It's not like a big deal for
Nah,
them.
I mean, yeah, but
The only time the U.S. doesn't win is when they don't send their players. When the U.S. sends their
okay,
players,
well, that's
they
the thing.
win every time.
Well, I understand, but I mean, if you go back to all the big players, the first time the Dream Team went there with the Jordans and the Larry Birds and all that stuff, and Charles Barkley and all that stuff, they all won their gold medal.
I know.
And then from there, it's been all the top players.
But
from,
keep in mind,
from-
a lot of these guys, if you have a long season, you lose in the conference finals, and then you're ready to finally rest and recover your body, and then you got to fly across to fucking Japan
Yeah,
and play a
so-
whole another tournament.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are like, you know what? I'd
yeah,
rather
and
rest.
you play Angola, and you only have like 2 important games, which
Exactly.
you're still gonna win.
That's why they don't care.
No, but they do care because it's like a gold medal for them. on
Sure,
their-
getting a gold medal is cool.
Okay.
But if it's that or
I'm not saying the guys that just won a championship, that if LeBron wins another one or whatever, but everybody that, I mean, there's a lot of players that haven't won a championship that are very good. You tell me, I mean, like Barkley is very happy with his gold medal for the Olympics because he never won a championship.
sure, but
Yeah, he is.
if you
I mean,
told
a
him,
lot
hey,
of-
would you trade it for a championship? He wouldn't even think
No.
twice about it.
no, I'm not saying trading. I'm saying you're eliminated, and then you can go to the Olympics.
I know. I
So-
think you overestimate the value of
No,
the Olympics for
think,
NBA players.
I think players are very proud to represent their country in the Olympics. The FIBA championship is
I think
different.
foreign players are. I don't think U.S. players are.
I wouldn't say so, but anyways, that's your opinion. But you know for fact
I'm
players
saying
that say that.
because look at how many times players just skip it. and
No,
don't
not the
go.
Olympics. The FIBA they've skipped. The Olympics, no, they have.
The Olympics
prime
are cool,
coaches.
but anyways, doesn't matter.
Anyways,
Whatever.
so the thing is that, but not only do we have the Olympics this year, we may have major soccer tournaments like the European Cup was delayed also from last year. So there's a lot of things going on now that they were delayed, and now we're going to run into. And then don't forget, 2022. Is it 22? Yeah, it's when is no, actually the Olympics. What happened? 2021 is the Olympics that were supposed to be in
2022 is the Winter Olympics.
is the Winter Olympics. Yeah, those don't
Isn't the
affect-
World Cup supposed to be in 2022?
Yeah, it is. It's in Qatar, I think.
Qatar.
Yeah,
Famous.
which they're gonna change that. Oh yeah, that's the thing, that because it's super hot in the summer, which is when they play that tournament. They're gonna change all the schedules so they can play that World Cup during the winter months like December, January, which is gonna be a big mess. But anyway, so to wrap up the NBA,
So my sleeper draft pick, RJ Hampton to the Nuggets, 24th pick. That's my sleeper because RJ Hampton a year ago was a lot of people had him projected like number 1 in the draft. And then he was the guy who got caught up in NCAA scandals and ended up going to Australia, if you remember. Didn't even play in the NCAA because they had all these bribery scandals.
I don't remember.
Anyways, RJ Hampton goes to Australia. He kind of didn't play as well as people had hoped in Australia. But I think for a guy who's projected number 1 or top 3 for sure, to all of a sudden drop to 24 basically a year later, if I'm Denver, who already has this like, treasure of riches, to get another guy who potentially could be like, hey, if he doesn't turn out to anything, it's the 24th pick, who cares? But if he does, he could be like the best player from this draft. That was like my sleeper pick. I wanted to see where he would go. I was surprised he went that low, honestly.
All right. Okay, well that's it for the NBA. We're kind of talked for a long time about the NBA, so let's just make a quick transition to next week is Thanksgiving already here, right? Thursday. Which, by the way, I was just reading that the CDC, Centers for Disease Control, which we love here in the U.S., just recommended not to travel for Thanksgiving, which kind of kills all the airlines and all the people that were hoping that people would travel. But basically, they recommend to stay home. And it's funny because I was reading this guidance and it says, this is funny. It says, adjust your Thanksgiving plans for safety. Experts urge. It says, if non-household members of the family are planning to attend your Thanksgiving gathering, the agency, CDC, recommends that attendees wear masks, social distance, wash hands often, bring their own food, drinks, plates, and utensils. Avoiding going in and out of the areas where the food is being prepared or handled, and opt for single-use products like salad dressings and condiment packets. So basically, they're saying
Bring your own ketchup packets. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, this turkey looks great. Let me get my ketchup packet.
yeah, let me get my turkey dressing packet that I brought from my home. So basically means your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, all these people, grandma, whatever are coming, they need to all wear masks and they're out of your household and you're going to have social distance stuff. It's like, but they're recommending not to travel. What the fuck would I go to my family's house? It's just like, I hope is that recommendations posted online today can help people celebrate as safely as possible. Yeah, okay. Well, just stay home, don't celebrate, watch TV, maybe there's football games. But I mean, you're going to have a Christmas with masks and social distance with your own family and all that stuff. Anyways, I thought that was kind of comic. But anyways, so Thanksgiving is coming. They recommend not traveling. They recommend social distancing. They're all freaking out with what's going to happen. On the good side, we have these vaccines that are coming. Pfizer said last week that they have one that was up to 90% effective. Then who is the company? Moderna came with one that said it was 95% effective. Then Pfizer came back and said, "Oh wait, we just reviewed ours, and ours is also 95% effective." So it's like they're going with that percentages. So we potentially have like 3 or 4 companies that are coming out with vaccines that are supposedly very effective. And we just don't know for sure when they will be available to the masses. It looks like it's going to be probably starting early next year as far as distribution. They said the medical profession first and then everybody else. The one thing that is going to be hopefully talking about NBA and sporting events in general available soon is the quick rapid testing for COVID. So that's one thing that will allow fans to go to events. I mean, obviously you get a vaccine and you have some
That's the goal. The NBA wants to have testing,
right?
For
but they
fans
had
so that
this,
they can let them in.
right? But they had that kind of quick testing or whatever at the bubble.
But but not at a mass scale to have
Exactly.
thousands of fans.
No, exactly. So, but if they start allowing a small group of fans, not a sold out 15,000, 20,000 people arena, but if they say, okay, we want to have maybe 5,000 people, just enough people that are down there making noise. And we can test those guys. Obviously, show up like 3 hours ahead, whatever. But you can be tested, and then go in. That'll be a good start. Just to start having that kind of testing available. If it's fairly, quick and not a big hassle or anything else, and then expand that to travel and everything like we discussed last week. I mean, all this money that we're doing in stimulus should be going to testing, basically. So, all right, buddy. Any other comments or anything for this week?
No, just that.
You're excited, huh? I've never seen you so excited talking about a topic.
The Suns. Hopefully, I'm gonna make a prediction right now.
Hold on, let me put the prediction music. Bing, 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 bing.
I think the Suns will make at the very least the second round of the playoffs this year.
The second round. So not only do they make the playoffs, they also win the first round against a potential number 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think the Suns could be like a 6 seed, and then if they're playing like whoever, a Utah or a Denver or something, can beat them. We'll beat them.
Okay, well,
I think this will be the year that people finally realize how damn good Devin Booker is.
Well, how many of us studied too?
Devin, by the way, here's one.
Well, people realized that when they saw the bubble too.
One stat: Devin Booker has never ever played with an All-Star, never, and now he has an All-Star point
except
guard.
for the All-Star weekend.
No, I mean on his team.
Yeah.
Never played with an All-Star. DeAndre Ayton is going into year 3. Mikal Bridges is going into year 3. Chris Paul, Devin Booker. We're going to be a playoff team, and I think people are going to realize how good Devin Booker is.
Well, I saw
Devin Booker, I think, will be an MVP contender this year. I'm not saying he'll win it, but I think he'll be in the MVP conversation.
I saw an owner server on CNBC actually yesterday. He was talking about the brand new facilities and all the stuff that the Suns are building. Obviously sponsored by Verizon 5G or all these high-tech videos and all that stuff. It was kind of cool. I mean, I don't know what they had training facilities and they refurbished the arena and all that stuff. So I guess the pandemic and the closure actually helped him get all that stuff done ahead of time. So that's good. All right. Well, that's going to do it for today for this podcast. I'm not sure exactly what the schedule will be next week. Normally we record on Thursdays like today, but Thursday is Thanksgiving. So I'm not sure we're going to do like a quick catch up on Wednesday or maybe something on Friday. We'll decide on the fly. But we'll definitely keep you posted. In the meantime, if you like this and you want to share primarily David's opinions on basketball with any of your friends and give some comments addressed to him, whether he's full of shit or not.
Who was your favorite? Who's everybody's sleeper draft pick? Who do they think was the best pick of the draft?
I couldn't even tell you any name from the draft. I mean, I obviously I know LaMelo Ball, and I saw him yesterday in the highlights, which everybody looks good on highlights, and I thought he was better than Lonzo as far as I could tell.
I think he'll be better than Lonzo.
But as far as the rest of the players, honestly, I mean, they all look pretty young, athletic, and they just need to prove themselves in the big league, which is exactly what happens every
that's
time.
what an analysis.
Am I a politician?
Yeah.
So I don't know, dude. I couldn't tell you. And that's why I was surprised when yesterday we were watching and you said the Suns, that you were like, who are the Suns picking? Oh, what the heck? Well, who's that guy? Like he was number 20 or something.
Right. Because, anyways.
I don't know. Anyways, we went through that, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But I'm sure people that are listening to this and they are basketball fans and know all these things and they follow them, they will able to pitch in and give you opinion and say agree with you or not on your prediction for the Suns to begin with. So, all right. Well, in the meantime, thank you for listening, and we'll catch up sometime next week with another episode of MGR Unplugged. I promise we'll get back to business of marketing and similar stuff. Okay. Well, goodbye. Bye bye.